Hello, friends. Hi. Good morning and good afternoon to everybody watching. How are you? I hope I can be seen, of course, and heard. Hi. Okay. Okay. So anyway, thank you very much, Scott Adams, for confirming that you can hear me. And Vicky, thank you very much, everybody who is waiting in the chat. Thank you to all the moderators. And thank you to everybody who is there waiting for this live, waiting to learn things and to connect, who is not in the chat room. If you see me swaying and the camera is moving, it's because I'm in this rocking chair and the chair moves, goes all around. Oh, that was a good light, actually. I'm always looking where a good light is from. Okay, but not a good view behind me. So if you see the camera moving, I will try not to move it because I know it's a bit annoying. Yesterday I did this live in Spanish and I was swaying and talking and rocking the chair. And I guess it's a bit dizzy if you are watching it later, so I'll try not to move. Okay, well, how did you like that video about inserts in the matrix? I liked it very much, actually, myself, and that's why I decided to come here with you and maybe go over some points that I understood that stuck out for me, that seemed interesting to me. But of course, I'm not going to be able to talk about everything. Okay, before I start, let me just maybe gather some more people and maybe do some greetings to you, Diane, Worley, and Trans, WSFM, Charlie Kennedy, and all the lovely moderators like Cindy Rodriguez, Eva Carolina Vargas, Happy Girl, and others. Sławek Kot, hello, Francine. Someone was asking me in the chat if this is going to be in Polish. I know it's going to be in English. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do it all in 3 languages. I mean, I would love to be able to actually do this in Polish, maybe at some point in the future. Hello, Anna Sinicka. But I'm doing this in Spanish and I'm doing this in English, and I'm always behind sharing the topic, so just too much, and I wouldn't be able to just do it myself. So I'm very grateful actually to 2 Polish channels that are sharing this information in Polish. Thank you guys for your work. And one of them is called Cosmic Agency PL, and the other one is called Agencja Kosmiczna. So thank you guys. Hello, Bent as well, that Nino kind of guy, and Karina. Well, let's open my notes, because I don't do almost ever lives without notes, unless it's something improvised. So 1 second, please. Let me just divide my screen. Okay, 1 second. I'm gonna be able to see your chat and see a little bit of myself and see my notes. So anyway, I really loved this video, and the next ones that are coming are also important and super interesting and super metaphysical and technical at the same time. It's going to be 4 videos in total. And for all of you who are interested in this series and in this topic, there is the whole playlist on stellar navigation. Actually, we have done this already with Svaru of Erra about 3 years ago, and more videos were added as we were talking to them. And now I don't know how many videos there are in the stellar navigation playlist, but a lot if you want to deepen this subject, because many of these points were already mentioned. Like, for example, the fact that the ship is not actually traveling anywhere, it's not moving when it jumps to the hyperspace, but it actually just manifests itself at the location by wrapping by creating a toroidal frequency energetic field that matches the frequency of the destination, and so it then manifests. So this was described in detail in the past videos. Uh, under the last video about the stellar navigation, there is a link to the whole playlist on stellar navigation. However, I must say that this topic is not just about stellar navigation. It's metaphysics and spirituality. And the future one, the next one, also is going to include that, because you cannot separate technology, the way they operate their technology and navigation of ships, from metaphysics, from mechanics of consciousness. It's all connected. And here I'm going to actually share a point with you. Many times when I share these videos on how the ships operate and stuff like that, there is always someone in the comments that mention, and sorry, I get frustrated when I see these comments. Sometimes I try to contain myself, but I must admit I do get frustrated. I see comments like, hey, why do we need this? This is not practical for me. I need to know how to heal myself and how to heal my relationships, how to learn how to deal with this and that, and grow better herb garden in my balcony, things like that. So first of all, 2 points here. When we make videos like this, like the stellar navigation, first of all, we are not only addressing average Joes here. Our channel is not just for normal people, let's call them that way, even though that's putting a label on them. No one is really truly normal, even though might be living normal types of life. But let's just stick to that. So we are not only making these videos to the normal people who just want to, improve their meditation methods and connect with the source, which, by the way, that also is mentioned. But we are making these videos for the entire human race. I mean, imagine we are talking to this extraterrestrial race who has all this advanced knowledge, and we won't be talking just about these simpler topics, because there is so much information about that already. We're addressing the whole race. This is the information, like the heritage for the whole race, that is going to be passed down to its subconscious mind somewhere, collective conscious and subconscious mind. I feel like we are leaving the seeds within the matrix, the collective matrix of the human mind, and these concepts are important to share with the race, like humans here on Earth who don't necessarily have the full understanding of how these things work. And maybe for you it's not practical and not necessary to know. Then you can skip it. You can go to other videos. We have plenty of other simpler videos. But there are people who are interested in this. There are technicians, scientists, people interested in building better technology and all that. I mean, who knows who is watching this? So this is for all. We must cover all these different topics. And then another point here is that if someone says this is not practical, they're actually missing a lot of concepts ingrained here within this information, because this technology, as I will be talking about in this video, is based on consciousness and the mind of living beings. So actually, by understanding this technology, it will help you to understand the mechanics of your own mind. And you can actually extend knowing how this ship technology works, and you can actually apply it to yourself in life, because actually the ship technology is based on knowledge of how consciousness works, not the other way around. So this is super practical, and okay, I got distracted when I look at the chat. It is super practical, and if someone says this is not practical, I think they are missing a lot of really, really instructive and important points that you can apply in your own life. And I will be talking about some of this here. So I'm going to be taking some breaks here and there because I don't want to talk too fast. I sometimes have this tendency, I said that in the Spanish life as well, to be talking very fast because I feel like I want to get through the points. I feel like I'm, taking your time. So I want to get through this. But when I watched those lives back, I feel like it's too fast. So I'm going to make some pauses here and there and have a bit of water. Okay. So this whole topic actually began with my question, and it actually was someone else's question as well. The question about the matrix here on Earth and why it is necessary for them to come down here, boots on the ground, like for example, Hashmalims that get in special forces and men who came down in Ukraine or many other situations. Yeah, Mongo. And why do they have to come down here? And why do they have to send drones, for example, and use all that remote viewing technology? No, sorry, why do they have to be here physically, and why they have to send drones and be so close to us if apparently they can see everything from the computer, from the matrix computers on board? They can see the whole matrix. It was explained that they can see us, hear us, and even smell us. Aneka said that once a long time ago, that when I was asking, can you see us? And she said, I can even smell you, GOSIA. However, it must be stressed, they don't necessarily do that. They try to respect our privacy. So I was asking why do they have to come down still if you can see everything from up there? And I think it was very clearly explained in the video why they have to come down. So I'm not going to repeat that. In summary, just that the computer that they use, which by the way, we are using this term computer, but it's like just our equivalent. Of course, this is not the computer that we imagine here on Earth. It's just so much more advanced. But let's just say computer. The computer sees the map and the being sees the terrain, like it was explained. They do use drones and all that, but even drones, when they come here close, they only interpret the information in a certain way, and it can never replace someone real with their full senses and with their experience here. And with all the feelings, it can never replace a real person with a connection to the source and their experience. Because not everything can be seen through those computers. A lot of details are lost, and there's nothing better like the real person. Having an experience, and this also proves to many people who are always asking how do you know this is not artificial intelligence and all that. Well, this just shows once again that they are real people with soul and with the experience and wanting to experience things. They don't want to rely just on the technology. They want to be here and they want to be near, and sometimes they come down. And it was explained like Athena, she loves to fly. Her ship, not anti-gravity ship, but the ship where she can actually feel what she's doing. So they are people wanting to have these experiences, and they don't want to rely just on technology. Talking about drones, as I said in the beginning, Aneka told us that long time ago they sent some sort of drones or something, I don't know how they did it, to actually look at us. And she admitted that. And me and Robert asked, why? Why did you do that? And well, the answer was because Bongi. Sorry, I'm by myself again with Bongo at home. Okay. It was because they wanted to check us out and see what kind of people we are. That was in the beginning of this experience, of this whole contact. So since she said that, even though they always say we don't do that really anymore, and we don't try to invade, we don't want to invade your privacy, even though they say that, I'm always very careful what I talk about around here. And even when I'm like speaking to Matthias at home about something, like for example, if I'm tired and I know they might be coming online, and I might say, "Oh, I'm tired. I hope no one comes online today." And then right away, I have to catch myself and say, "Okay, but just in case you are listening, it's not that I don't love you guys. It's just that I'm tired." It just I never know when they might be listening. So yeah, that's just a little anecdote on the side. Okay, so we talked about that, and now we're going to continue on to spaceships and navigations, and later on to the inserts. Very interesting. And here and there, I will also tell you little anecdotes, personal stuff. Okay, everything good? I think so. Okay. So the interesting point here is an important point is that this technology of inserting things into the matrix can be applied to all the planets, to all different places outside, not just Earth, because all material world is an energy field, mathematical universe where everything I'm reading, where everything that exists obeys interactions and an influence with a mathematical order of formulas and calculable interactions. Everything is an energetic mathematical field with numerical values, energy field, and not just matrix here on Earth, even though this is like another layer within the matrix, but everything that is matter, everything material, because life outside Earth continues to be material and physical, everything, all matter is that energy field based on numerical values. And that's why this technology of inserting things into the physical reality can be applied everywhere. And it was explained that this is how all these huge ships like Andromedan or Arcturian are created with this technology. But I'll mention this a bit later. So knowing that that matter is just an energy field with numerical, energetic mathematical values, this is what the spacecrafts use to travel. They don't use maps like we have here with positions on the paper. They do use that, but only for short distances. But if they want to go farther distances and if they want to travel through the hyperspace, then their computers, very powerful engines and computers, they use frequency maps. This was already explained in the past in a stellar navigation before, so I'm not going to go into details here about this. I think this is already known by those of you at least who watch the videos. So the computers don't see objects like we see objects, the chairs and the dog playing and all that. The computers only see energy fields and energy interactions. They see everything as energy fields by frequencies. Why? Because everything is that. It's just that our brains, our minds, interprets this energy mathematical field as so-called material world. But it's just an illusion, of course. And it's not the illusion from one side, because from our side we can clearly see that there are objects and we can touch them. But when we look at matter from that perspective of just energy field, then it is an illusion, and everything is just numerical values and interactions and influences and toroidal fields playing with each other. And this is what the computers see that are used to navigate. This is how this is how these computers see the reality. This is what they use to navigate through hyperspace when they jump into ether. So in this sense, the reality is similar to the Matrix, the movie. I like when you see the numbers just going on the screen and you can see, oh, there's a girl walking on the street, there's a man drinking coffee. But it's just all numbers. The computers just see the numbers. So those computers on board, they see material world only based on its energy values and the energetic interactions of constant influence among each other, whether or on Earth or not. everywhere, everywhere. Because that's what the material world is. C is asking, Gosha, could we insert money? Well, anything can be inserted, but as you will see a bit later, and especially in the video number 2, it's not as easy as just inserting objects just like that, because you will understand this in the video too, that when you insert anything like an object or a situation or even a person, you need to also insert a cause that justifies the existence of that something, because nothing is separated from anything. It's all just one mass seen through the ether. So when you insert something, that something needs to have a correlation and interaction with other things around it that surround it, and it needs to have a cause. So it's going to be explained in video number 2 in detail, and I will also mention this a bit later. So it's not as easy. Well, it is easy, but it's not just about inserting the money. You need to insert where the money came from, who put that money in the bank, and how did it get to you. The whole situation needs to be there. Okay, anyway. So as you already know, and I will not be explaining this because it was already explained in the past, the ship, when it travels through hyperspace, it doesn't move. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't travel by velocity. It doesn't move. It's still. What it does, it just jumps to the ether and it manifests itself as at the location. How? By, okay, because the computers and the ships see everything as just the energy field with numerical values, stellar frequency maps. So what the ship does is take that energetic map, capture it, and capture the mathematical energetic values that would surround the ship with those frequencies, as if the ship was already at its destination. That's why, thereby emulating being there. So it creates a toroid around itself with the very, very strong engines and the motors and the computers, and it emulates the energetic value of the destination, the frequency of the destination. This way, everything within that bubble, within that toroidal field, the ship and all its contents, including the crew, becomes compatible with destination and not compatible with the origin anymore. So you just jump, you manifest, you disappear in one location and you manifest at another location. This is why probably many times when you see those ships in the sky, when they are just there and they just disintegrate, it's very probable that they are just doing that. They are jumping to the hyperspace. This was explained, like I said, in detail in the past in the stellar navigation, if you want to deepen this. Yes. And now, this is where it becomes super practical, and this is where you can apply this in your life. This is exactly how our minds work. This is exactly what we do all the time with our mind. Our body is like our ship, and then our mind and heart are our engines, because this ship technology is based on the consciousness of living beings, because for them, like you already know, there is no distinction, no separation between the technology and consciousness. They see that as one, and they use the modes of operation and mechanics of operation of one, and they apply it to the other. In this case, from the consciousness, from how consciousness works, to the technology of the ships. So this is exactly what happens with our mind, where we, for example, try to visualize something, right? When we have a vision. This is exactly what the visualization exercises are based on creating some sort of a toroidal field vision where we are actually picturing ourselves strongly with all the senses, creating that toroidal field around us, picturing ourselves doing whatever we want to do, or whatever place we want to be. And for the mind, remember, there is no distinction, reality and imagination. In the imagination is where everything starts and begins and becomes. So when we are doing that, visualizing something very, very strongly, on being sure of something very very strongly, we become compatible with that we are envisioning, and we are no longer compatible with the place of origin, where we are, the place we are leaving behind, or the situation we are leaving behind. So we are drawing ourselves to manifest at that envisioned location or situation. This is something we do all the time. This is something we do unconsciously, without knowing how this works. And you know, when you are on the ship, the ship is sort of like the extension of the mind of this process, because we do this all the time, just with our own personal toroidal ship, ourselves. But when you are on the ship sort of amplifies that, so they can read your mind. For example, you want to go to Temer or something, but you have to be specific and clear, and the ship will read your mind and will take you there. Because it's sort of like an extension, an amplifier of your mind. But we do this without we can do this without the ship. This is what teleportation is about as well, and all these different cool, tricks, so to say, so to speak. So this is super practical. In this case, you can apply this to any situation in your life. Like, for example, I'm going to give you an example from my personal life. First, let me check on you if everything is okay in the chat, because I'm not looking much at the chat right now. Michael Alexander, but how to visualize in mind that which is an external address or frequency without having been in those exact circumstances before? You sound so much like Matthias. Matthias always says that he has no imagination, that if he hasn't seen something or hasn't experienced something, that there's no way he can imagine it. Because how can he recreate that in his mind, or create that, if he hasn't seen it, or he hasn't feel it, if he hasn't been there? You can, I don't know, you can create anything in your mind, and you can start practicing, creating people walking around with elephant heads. You haven't seen that before, but in your mind you can create that. You can create anything. I'm going to mention something about Matthias a bit later as well. Maybe it will also answer your question here. But my personal example here, from my life, and this happened to me many times, seriously, many times, before I had this contact. I don't know, it's whether because I just subconsciously felt intuitively how this works, without consciously knowing how this works. But okay, I'm cutting in and out? Someone says, Jan, cutting in and out a lot. Am I cutting in and out? Can someone confirm? No, you're fine, Bent. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, thanks. Maybe that person was referring to something else. Okay, my personal experience, when I was living in the States, when I was like 23 or something, 20 years ago, a long time ago, I really had this dream and fantasy of studying, of going to the university. I wanted to be at the university, even though I studied already in Poland, English language, but it wasn't the same. I wanted to be in this big university, like really beautiful, and in one of these lecture halls when like the chairs are going up and you are looking at the professor down. It's like most my fantasy. Buggy, are you bored? Chill here. So when I was living in the States, I really wanted to apply to the universities. So of course, my mom and everybody was telling me, you are crazy. How are you going to pay for this? This is too expensive. You have no money. Stop fantasizing. Don't fool yourself. But I don't know why and I don't know how. I just know that I had absolutely no doubts that this is going to happen. And I had no doubts to such a degree that I actually applied to a few universities. One of them was in Boulder, Colorado, for some reason. I applied to anthropology program at that time. That's what I wanted to study. I applied. I applied. I did the whole process of gathering my notes from Poland and all kinds of papers, uh, and I applied. I had no idea what I'm going to do if I get accepted. My mom was shocked. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? If what's going to happen if you get accepted? Where will you get the money from? But I just knew. But I just knew to the point that I could actually see myself in the classrooms. I could smell the wooden chairs, literally the wooden chairs in the classrooms. I could see myself there looking at the professor, walking around the campus. I could see this with all my senses. I had no doubt this is what's going to happen. And this is how it works. This is how you need to do this. You need to have this certainty, wrap yourself in that frequency map of your destination, knowing precisely what you want and where you're going. I will mention something in a bit later about people who don't know exactly what they want and where they are going. There's another technique around that, but that's a bit later. So in this case, I knew exactly what I wanted, so I could recreate or create, imagine the smells, the professors, walking around the campus, everything. I just knew. I saw myself there, and I literally hyperspaced myself. I jumped to the ether and I did some kind of a quantum leap, and my body, my ship, followed my mind. I did not get accepted. I did not get accepted in any of these universities, but I did get accepted next year. I applied again to the University of Queensland in Australia. Different circumstances, different context, different program. I applied to be in religious studies. And I was accepted. And I went there and I studied there for 3 years. And it was one of the greatest periods of my life. And the university was beautiful. It was actually more beautiful than I imagined in my visions, and it was just amazing. I just knew that. I had no doubt. So anyway, this is the example uh, of how we can actually hyperspace ourselves to the point of destination using those mental frequency maps, exactly the same as the ship, because the ship again is based on the consciousness of the living beings. Athena Foroluri, but you must believe it 100%. You cannot fool the universe. That's right, because if we are having doubts and there's a subconscious programming that no, we're not, it's not going to happen, then yeah, you are kind of canceling out that frequency map that you are putting there around you. And that's why actually people don't manifest a lot of things. It's not as easy as it says in the Secret movie or the law of attraction. You just imagine something and that's that. If it was that easy, everybody would be just happy and fulfilling their dreams left and right. But actually it is possible, because I'm serious, it worked for me so many times, and subconsciously I did that. But unfortunately, there are a lot of I can't or I don't believe this will happen attitudes, and they cancel out that vision. So you need to work on that, and you need to somehow gather the strength and the confidence and trust that that it's gonna happen. There are other points you could talk about here, but I don't want to digress, because at the same time, if it doesn't happen, also be okay with that not happening. But anyway, that's another topic here. We could go into many branches here of this. So anyway, going back to the navigation here and to the video. The interesting point also that I gathered from the video is that, and here there will be Matthias' story. And this is going to be about how maybe you don't know exactly where you want to be and what you want to envision. So anyway, the point is here that Athena mentions that when the ship travels through the hyperspace to its point of destination, it doesn't have to emulate the whole reality of the point of arrival. So if you are going from Temer to Berlin, for example, you don't need to put in numerical values of every single street in Berlin, every single bird that is sitting on every single tree everywhere in Berlin, but only numerical values are surrounding the place where you want to locate yourself at, where you want to manifest to. So this is the same here again. I am transferring this to the practical side of life. This is again what happens with visualizations. I believe when Athena says that it's not necessary to emulate the whole reality, here also it's not always necessary to envision every single detail of what it is that you want to do. I know that it sounds a bit enigmatic. I'm going to give you an example based on Matthias. Recently, we talked to a girl who is quite special to us. We had a conversation with her, very interesting spiritual conversation, and Matthias shared with her that he is not happy where he is with his work, especially. He's suffering in this 3D matrix. He doesn't like his job. And the thing is, he doesn't know what he wants. It's not like he can envision, like in my case with the university, exactly what he wants because he doesn't want. He doesn't know. He has no clue what he wants. All he knows that he is not happy where he is, and he believes he is restricted to a certain number of jobs here only, which is also, I believe, some sort of self-imposition there, but that's another topic. So he doesn't know. So at this point, what this girl said, and I think it's very interesting, that's why I'm sharing, she asked him, okay, if you don't know what it is that you want, what kind of emotion you want to feel while doing whatever that is that you don't know yet what you want to be doing? What emotion you feel there? Emotion. And he said, freedom. I want to feel free. So I don't know yet what I want, exactly what my job will be or whatever. All I know is that I want to have feeling and sensation and perception that I'm free, freedom. And here she said, okay, well, in that case, if that's what you're after, feeling free, then focus and bring into yourself, into your field, create that around you as your body as a ship, create that toroidal field of freedom frequency. That's going to be your map in this case. And draw that sensation of freedom from anything in your daily life. Because many of us take so many things for granted. So many things for granted. So, for example, we have a little garden here. If you go to the garden with your feet on the grass and laying in the sun, this is freedom. Enjoy this moment and be aware of yourself there being free. I am free now to step on this ground and enjoy grass under my feet. Many people can't do that. Or any type of situation where it gives you a small little moment of freedom where you can go to the store and you can choose anything you want. For example, wow, so many people don't have the luxury to be able to just get whatever you want, whatever they want. I want this candy, or I want this type of bread. Freedom. Bring that frequency of freedom into your field. Create that. Bathe yourself in that emotion of freedom. So when you are bathing, the more you are bathing yourself in that emotion of freedom, the more you are becoming compatible with whatever situation in life that gives you that sensation of freedom. And that may include emergence and appearance and manifestation of some sort of a job that will further give you that feeling of freedom, because you are becoming less and less compatible with not feeling free and you are becoming more and more focused and compatible with freedom. So that may take you, catapult you, hyperspace you into the ether, and from there you manifest yourself in a different situation where maybe you'll find an opportunity that will give you a feeling, the feeling of freedom. So this is an example of how you can use knowing how this technology works and bring this into your life. Like Athena said, you don't need to know the whole map of the destination, even though it helps, just what surrounds it. So in this case, the emotion that surrounds it. Focus on that. Is it clear? Did I explain myself properly here with this? Okay. Thank you. Okay, Francine, thanks. Thanks. So let's continue. Okay, let's continue. So as the computers and the computers on board see the reality and matter as just frequency maps, energetic mathematical maps, and interactions between these values, you can actually instruct the computer to interpret whatever map data and display it in front of you as objects and positions. And for example, you can have, that matrix on Earth displayed in front of you on some sort of display where you will interpret that as objects. Your mind will interpret that as objects. And also you can instruct the computer to interpret that as objects for you to see. So kind of holographically, they can see objects in front of them displayed. That's just one point. And another point here is, as she explains, and this is when we go into the inserts into the matrix, and not only matrix on Earth. Just as a ship emulates and self-manifests itself at the destination, because all it sees is numerical values, it can also impose or change or alter a part of that energetic mathematical map of whatever place. It can change its numerical values, alter its energy values by using a coded and controlled gravity beam that imprints those new values on a specific point and thereby inserting a new object. Very interesting. So they are using this using a tractor beam technology and or portals, or these types of technologies. So the computer just changes the values. For example, just a stupid, simple example, if everything is in threes, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 1, 3, the computer can change those numbers, 2 to 1, 1, 3, and this will make a change in the matrix, and this will insert a certain object or whatever. I can here at this point, it came to me, what about removing the objects? I think it will work just the same. If you can insert, you can also remove. That would be a good question to ask too. I didn't ask that yet. So any objects can be inserted, and situations, people even. But now, and this is very important, and this goes back to the question, can they insert $100 bill, for example? And this will be also explained in detail in the next video. Not in the ether and in that energy field, nothing is separated. It's all connected and nothing is isolated. Everything from a single particle to galaxies, complete galaxies, are toroids, toroidal fields that interact with other fields and other fields and other fields on top of other fields. So how can you just insert an isolated object? So you can't. And it is explained that as everything is interrelated, those energy values are always interrelated with the energy values of the next object and the next situation. For that reason, the cause and the prior dynamic before the appearance of that object must appear, because nothing just appears out of nothing, out of nowhere. It has to have its justification in the matrix field and its proper dynamic, why it's there, the previous dynamic of why it appeared there. And this is super interesting and super important. And because I remember one time, a long time ago, we asked, like, okay, can you insert me a ticket to Hawaii, for example? And I remember Svaru of ERA, that was a long time ago, she said, well, I can't do that without inserting the whole chain of events that led to why that ticket is on your table. So the passenger, you have a passenger seat reserved, why this seat, and who organized that ticket, who bought that ticket, why that ticket was bought, what airline. So it creates like a shock wave in the matrix if you insert something like that, and it creates the whole dynamic around it. And the interesting and super mysterious thing here is that dynamic around it appears by itself sometimes. It's not like that they have to insert that. Sometimes all they have to do is just drop the object into the matrix, and the matrix, the energy field of the matrix, any material matrix, will create the dynamic interactions around that object, including memories of people will appear. Someone will actually remember selling me the ticket at the office. That's why this technology is so, they have to be careful with that, because it can be kind of invasive. Because, okay, that matrix creates the justification around that object by itself. And it absorbs that object and create the whole raison d'être around it. Like I said, even memories will appear. People having memories of having bought that object somewhere. Those memories, where do they come from? They're not going to be based on something that really happened, right? It's going to be like a false memory. I believe that even though they are very careful with this type of technology, I believe that regressive races or even Federation or whoever has the access to this technology, they are using it a lot behind our backs. We already made a video on, for example, memory implants, how the Federation uses the technology of memory implants, if you want to check that video out. And here we are talking not just about memory implants, but objects, historical events, artifacts, situations. For example, the Matrix people, the Cabal, they want to confirm, they want to verify and confirm the existence of a certain historical figure, or they want to verify and prove the existence or the occurrence of certain historical event in the past. They might insert the object, the artifact that will be found by the archaeologist, and it will be like, wow, this is proving this and that, but it has been inserted. I know that this happens. I know that this happens, and I believe it happens more than we imagine. So this is super interesting, and stay tuned for the next video, because in the next video this will be explained, this insertion or appearance of the whole dynamics around the inserted situation and how it is done and why it is done. But stay tuned. That video will be long. It'll be like 50 minutes, and the explanation about this specific point will be in the last part. So stay tuned, because the first part will be about ether. We already made a video about ether long time ago, but here Athena is explaining ether again, how ether is viewed by the interstellar advanced races. So it's going to be quite metaphysical. Stay tuned. And then she goes into why that dynamic around the inserted object needs to appear, because you need to understand what the ether is in order to understand this whole topic. It's all very interesting. Now, very interesting point is that this is done also in other places and other planets. Like I said, all these big ships, Arcturian and Andromedan and other things, they use this technology. Although, like Athena said, it's easier to do this on Earth within the so-called 3D matrix, because the reality is less complex here. You need more precision to do this outside. The more precision is required, more detail, because the reality is more complex there. And now I'm going to share with you a dream that I had. It's related to this whole, there's more precision outside Earth, more high definition. This dream will relate to that. I believe it wasn't a dream. I don't know what it was, but it was very, very realistic. I am sure all of you had those dreams where you just knew it was not just a dream. So in that dream, it's very short what I was saying. Don't worry, I'm not going to bother you with all the details. I actually get sometimes I get a bit bored when the people tell me details about their dreams. So I'm not going to do the same. But yes, the dream was. Thank you, Ben. The dream was about the extraction. I was on a huge spaceship, huge, and we were getting extracted. Me and many other people. I didn't recognize anybody there, but there were other people there, and we were getting extracted, and we were going up. And as we were going up farther away from the Earth, I was alone in some sort of a balcony, but not balcony with the open air. Of course, it had some sort of a closure, but it was like I was alone there. And I was looking at the Earth and looking at the space around me. And suddenly I get that feeling that I never, but ever had in my entire life. I don't know if it was because we crossed Van Allen bands and all that, but I felt, and there are no words for that actually. I felt so complete, healthy, alive, full, like I've never felt in my whole life. And that I consider myself happy and alive person. It was like, I call it high definition experience of what we feel here on Earth within the 3D. High definition, high resolution. I remember I woke up in the morning and I tried to focus on that feeling, to kind of, I didn't want to let go of that feeling. I wanted to remember and I wanted to recreate that feeling at will, and I'm not able to. I have like a distant only memory of that feeling. But it was like a blanket, like Yaski sometimes says when she goes to high densities, it kind of feels like a blanket that wraps around her. It didn't necessarily feel like a blanket because it was coming from me. I was there. It was me. Felt so much precision of how I felt, of my perception and clarity and fullness. I've never felt this in my life here, and I don't think I will ever be able to have this feeling again. But I do believe that this is how you feel when you are outside Earth in that so-called high definition fifth density. Because as they always say, being here sort of is a caricature, even though I don't like this term because it makes our experience like it's something distorted in a way. Well, it is in a way, but it can also be fun and beautiful. But the way I felt there, I understand now when they say sometimes you don't want to visit our ship because once you are here and the way you feel, you will not want to go back. I mean, maybe I will want to go back, but that feeling of that precision and high resolution, high definition experience and perception was amazing. So my point here is that when they are inserting these objects into that reality out there, as Athena says, more precision is required. So it's not as easy, even though it's easy, but it's easier even here. So that's that. And they are also talking about, well, let me just take a little moment of break here. C is asking, but Gosha, if they insert, that the ticket was imported by them, so you won't feel weird. It just have bad effects on the people who don't know about that ability. So what's wrong? I don't think it's wrong necessarily. This is subjective here, although it could raise ethical issues. Yes, I don't think it's wrong. It's just that they are aware of that it creates all these chain of events around it. Yeah, I don't think it's wrong, but you do have to be careful how you use that technology. Yes. So now not only objects can be inserted, but like I said, situations as well. And it was mentioned in this video. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat again. And it was mentioned in this video how when there's a crossroad and there's a car and you are trying to prevent sort of the accident there on the street. So what you do, you are not inserting any object, but you are influencing the situation. So you are inserting, you are inserting those. You are manipulating and altering the energy values of the dynamics operating in that situation. In this case, friction and heat factors and values of the tires. So you are altering that, and the car arrives a second later to the intersection and it doesn't crash. And this is what the Sand Clock elite squadron, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing this word right, squadron group team is about. The Sand Clock, for the new people, teams are the teams of Taigetans who are highly trained in these types of alterations, time traveling and altering these little events and situations in order to change the course of events. And this is where Athena said, this is what my mom does. And her mom is Svaru 9, Svaru of Erra 9, but not ours and not hers. Please interpret the Spanish on your cup. Yes, I know people were asking me this yesterday as well in the chat. This is in Spanish. This was a gift. This was a gift from Alex, the doctor. I don't know if you have been following us for a long time, especially in the times of whatever was happening the last 2 years, then you know who Dr. Alex is. And he gave it to us. This is Varu, this is Robert, this is me, and it says, La vida está en todas, this is a quote from Svaru Verra. La vida está en todas partes del universo porque es el universo. Life is in all parts of the universe because it is the universe. Yeah, that's what it says. I didn't choose this quote. Alex chose this quote. Yeah. Andre Raben is saying, I would like to be recruited in the Sand Clock team. Yes, it sounds like fun, definitely. However, this is only for the super trained people and important, super aware people as far as ethical consequences go. You have to be super ethical person. You cannot do this for your self-interest. You cannot be tempted to use this for any other reason that, whatever mission you have, higher cause, you have to know how to do this right. Okay. So, like I said, they use this technology there in space, and they insert all kinds of things. They insert and imprint this way big ships, anything, houses, even. They print matter from energy. This is, in other words, this is just printing, manifesting matter from energy, and this is what characterizes a truly advanced interstellar civilization, to be able to create matter from energy. However, as it was explained in the video, um, okay, maybe I will answer some questions when I finish. I'm almost done. Don't have much left. As it was explained in the video, the Tibetan society goes back to the simple. Even though they are very technological, they appreciate, manual creations and doing things in artistic way, manually. Everything is done and given and ready and finished in that society. So in a way, it can be boring and sterile for them. And it was even mentioned that it can wipe out, and it has wiped out entire civilizations. And that'll be cool to ask, very curious to ask how that happened exactly. So they go back to the simple. Um, Also, this technology, like I already said, causes and raises a lot of ethical problems because, and even there for them, because it involves, manipulation of perception, inserting of objects and things and things like that, and then you don't know if it was there naturally or was it inserted. Um, but at the same time, like I asked yesterday as well in the Spanish live, if I'm doing this for myself, if I'm printing something this way, inserting something this way technologically, I mean, does it really matter if I'm doing this with my mind or naturally, or if I'm doing this with the technology? I mean, it's just the mode of manifestation here differs. But as long as I'm not imposing on anybody and not hurting anybody with this technology, then I think it's okay. Um, I think it's okay. But I do understand why it raises many ethical questions and why they have to be careful with it. As Athena explained, there are rules of use. Um, Established by the Alcyone Council, which, by the way, those rules are so obvious for them that they don't need to be like, people already understand that they are obvious, those rules. Even though, as you know, in that video, I tried to insist on, like, what are the rules exactly, Athena? I wanted a specific example, but she didn't specify anything specific. She didn't specify anything specific. Okay. That was a funny sentence. So the last sentence which Athena spoke was very nice, when she said that they have this admiration for the humans because they achieve so little with so few resources and with such a few memories, almost no memories at all, with so little technologies and such a short lifespan. Everything is just little, and there's so much achieved, and I agree with that. There's so much in the terms of art, especially, for example. It's just unbelievable feats that people realize, people perform here sometimes. And I think that's why many of these souls, many of us from outside, come to Earth as well, as among many reasons, because everybody will have their own personal reason. But I think that's one of them, to come here and to test themselves within this realm of limitations, to test their endurance, their creativity, their resourcefulness, their perseverance, their courage, all these qualities that you cannot absolutely feel come to fruition up there, because like she said, everything is already done, everything is there, everything is kind of boring in a way, so to speak. Although I cannot imagine how it's boring if there are all these different races and you can visit them, and elephant people and orange people and this different cultures, so you can travel everywhere. So I don't think I'll be bored. But with that, with that aspect, it's boring. That it's everything is provided and there's nothing you need to strive for. And here it's like you are coming and you want to see how far you can get with so little. And I totally believe that that's why many souls come in here, because that's how I am. I know myself. For example, I have a very huge curiosity. I wouldn't say visualization, because I don't want that really to happen, but curiosity to be stranded on the deserted island, for example, and see if I can survive. Like, seriously, I actually wanted to be on a Survivor show for that reason. I'm serious. In the Spanish world, because the Survivor show is in every country, I think almost in the world, and I applied for it actually in the Spanish world in Spain. I wasn't accepted, and that was a shame. But yeah, I had this huge curiosity to throw myself in a situation like that and test my limits, see if I can survive, see what I can achieve with so little. And this is exactly what this earth is. The souls come in to see how much they can achieve and what they can do with so little. And knowing that this life is so short, it's like, who cares? It's just going to last 60 years and I'm out. So it's not like a big deal from that perspective. All right. So Dale is there. Hello there. How are you there, Dale? Yeah. So that's that. Please watch the next video, but stay tuned towards the end because she's mentioning the inserts towards the end. But first, she's describing the ether, and it's quite metaphysical. You need to understand it. It's like she's laying this foundation first, and then you understand the inserts and why that cause needs to be there as well. And I might do a short live after that video as well, because actually there are some points that I want to address there. I might. So that's that. I hope you enjoyed it, what I had to say. I actually will be going on a little vacation 1 week. Matthias and I are going to Spain, in very close to where I used to live, in Barcelona. Finally they removed the restrictions and you can just go if you are a member of a European Union. I understand if you're coming from outside, I think there's still some sort of tests or whatever. So we're going to be there for a week and I'm not going to work at that time. So that's going to be from 9th to 17th. No work around that time. Okay. So for sure I'm going to publish this next video and then maybe a next one. Or maybe I will do a Saturn one to kind of break up the series a little bit. So anyway, do you have any questions? I don't know so many questions that you have. I don't know anything about ant people. I don't know anything about the domain. Sorry. So where do you live? I live in Finland. C is asking, for some reason, I am picking up questions from C today. Is there any specific way? Wait, because the question is going up. 1 second. Okay, let me just remove this. Okay, 1 second. Is there any specific way to distinguish which event, object, matter, people is real and which one was inserted? Will knowing that violate our experience? Please read this, please, please. I don't think there is a way to know, because just because it was inserted, it doesn't mean it's fake. Insertion, it doesn't mean it's fake. It's not there. It just the process of that appearing is technological. Like, for example, there is a numerical, my kitchen is a numerical field. Every single object has its numerical, mathematical, energetic value, right? That's how the computer sees this. So the computer seeing my kitchen as this energy field, the numbers, it will simply add certain numbers. So the process of inserting that might be technological, but it doesn't mean that that object is not there now and incorporated within the energy field of the kitchen. It is fully incorporated and it exists. And not only that it exists, but like I said, the whole dynamic around it, why it is there, where I bought it, exists as well, and it's real. So there is no way to distinguish, because it's all real, it's all there, it was just the process of its entry into the matrix was technological. And I think there's no way of knowing how if the process was natural or technological. So let me see if there are any more questions. If not, I'm going to disconnect soon. I believe seriously that our whole reality here on Earth is a mixture of all these different inserts happening all the time. This technology is fully accessible to all kinds of races. I don't know if regressive races have it. That'll be a good question for them as well. I think they do. Um, I don't know to what extent they have and use this technology, but I believe I have a strong suspicion that our reality, as we see it, is a mixture, is a mix of natural events and memories and all and inserts, and because even the Federation, like I said, uses that technology for implanting memories, for example. So whatever, it is what it is. Hi, GD, what is your opinion of objective reality? I'm going to point to the video that we have on this topic. Is there an objective reality? Look for that. By the way, if you are new and you don't know, we have all the transcripts on the website, and you can actually look up in a word search. For example, objective reality, you can look that up, and the respective transcript will come up that contains that word. The website is zvaru.org. So anyway, if I don't see any questions that I could answer, then I'll just disconnect. Leo, are the Tibetans able to insert anything to intercept CERN? That will be the question for them. I'm not sure. Thank you, Brent, for providing the website link. Oh yeah, travel with Maca. Ashtar is Vatican. Oh my God. Yeah, it is. It was explained by them, by the Tibetans, that Ashtar is a Vatican invention. Pretty much. Really, Charlie, I have all transcripts in books printed, ready for ET school. Yeah, that would be so great to actually be able to somehow compile all this in some sort of multiple book format, not just one. Like, for example, everything on stellar navigation, everything on spirituality, genetics. But I just don't have time right now to do this. By the way, we still don't have the communication with the crew. I hope they're okay. That's the only thing I can say. I do trust them. I trust their decisions. I trust this whole process with them. I do trust they will be back. I don't know when, if in tomorrow or in a week, in 10 years. I hope not 10 years. If it's like, if it starts to be like, if they don't come back in the summertime, like if they don't come back before Christmas, for example, or even like before October, maybe I'll start to be a little more worried. But for now, I'm okay. Train camp, can we have a live phone call with the Zvaru team? No, we cannot even publish their audios. We have audios with Dorkalel, but we are not allowed to publish that. Okay. Happy girls say they will return. Yes. Yes. I'm always getting C question. Today, C, you are in luck. Gosha, how about the third and fourth part? What will they be about? Okay, so the third part will be about, it's going to be also more things about navigation. Now, because I'm focused on these first two videos, I don't know, I don't remember exactly what the third part was about. I can only go by what I have in my title, and that's sit time. So it's going to be more about ship's internal time, how that is, how that happens when traveling. Because for the people who are new, ship's internal time, it means that when you are jumping into the hyperspace traveling, the ship is not traveling, right? It doesn't move. But in the perception of the crew, there is a time passage. It's called ship's internal time. So it's going to be more about that and more subjects about navigation. I think here we're going to start going into Yeah, I remember now how, for example, when the ship goes into the hyperspace, if it's a huge ship, how actually the engines do it, moving that huge machinery into the hyperspace. It's explain how it is done little by little, and then the small ship maybe does it in a different way. And then the fourth part will be also about teleportation of objects through space, how it happens. Um, I don't remember much more, but it's going to be also super interesting. That I remember that it's going to be super interesting. Okay, let me see if there's any other question. John Connor, when they leave, maybe they just move in time some month before to rectify some things. I don't think so because that's not what they do. This is not what they actually are involved with. This is Sandclock group, and this is something that actually this team doesn't do anymore because it was explained by Svarov Erra even a few years ago that you don't rectify anything in this timeline by ship jumping because you are going to another, you're opening a new line and you are there, and there's going to be no changes in this one. So yeah, it's not exactly, it's complicated. But then also Yasuki came and she corrected even that, and she said that there is a way to do that, which now I don't remember what it was. But Yasuki always, shatters the concepts and goes beyond. Well, not always. I don't think that's true. Vesa says, is it true that there was a 50 years agreement by Galactic Federation and other races that they can't share pictures, videos, but it ended last year, so now space friends can be seen in public cameras, etc. I don't think that's true. First of all, because in Billy Mayer's time in the 70s, they shared their photos. They were allowed to actually share photos and to be photographed. That's what happened. And of course, it didn't go anywhere. That's why photos and all that doesn't work. I mean, Billy Mayer had all that as a proof, and it didn't take him very far. So especially now in the era of digital photography and all that, photos and all that, not only that it's not a proof, but it can be used against them very much so, like it happened in the last month with the whole photo, porn photo situation. Which, by the way, talking about inserting things and objects and situations, how easy it is to insert photographs. That's just super easy, and it is done. It is done, among other reasons, to discredit people, like it was in our case. So anyway, I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. Last year it finished. If that was the case, then we will already have them on camera and showing more than just a few photos. Okay, well, Jonah, could the team be getting shut down because of their level of intervention? Yes, they could be. It actually happened last year. The last year they lost internet. They were actually cut off by the federation, and then through some political discussions or whatever, they got it back. But it is possible. I don't know what's happening. Yes, exactly, Scotty boy. That's when the photos tied to porn started with Billy. That's how it started. Yes. Okay, well, thank you very much. I don't know what else to say. I don't have specific answers to your questions. Sometimes I'm afraid even of your questions because I know I'll not have specific answers. Have you ever channeled the Asesani? Is that question for me or to someone in the chat room? Because I don't channel anybody. I don't channel. I might have some sort of a telepathic message or communicate, like, Yasuki is perception of things fuses with my perception of things. And I, for example, and I understand certain situations, how she understands the situation. It happens all the time, actually. Well, maybe not all the time, but it happens. But I don't channel. So, no. I think something about Bashar was mentioned in the past. That's Bashar. Yeah, it's sort of reliable. That's what I remember, but I don't want to quote now exactly because I don't remember exactly. But I think it's okay. Yeah, Bradford, you channel Gosha or your targeting self. That, yes, I'm channeling myself. Even though I would love to be able to channel more of myself because then I'll be able to answer all these specific questions in detail. But I have no memory, so all I can channel is just whatever perceptions come to me, but it's all, no specifics. Yes, Dale Harder, our contacts have always been direct, no channeling there. Michael Cryon, I need a vacation. I need a vacation too. And that's why we are going. I might do some sort of a quick phone live through my phone somewhere there in a nice place, but I'm not taking my computer. So it's just going to be a phone connection. Oh, another question I was going to take from C, but I have to be fair to other people. I'm not going to take any more C questions. Well, yeah. Okay, I will answer fast. You saw a video on Ether in Robert's channel. Well, that's what I'm talking about. The next video will be about Ether. Ascension, I don't know. What's that about? Well, I'm not going to keep you more here. As we could be here forever. Taking your questions and things, but I do want to keep it on the topic of that video, stellar navigation. So thank you very much. Inquisitive question: are you going to the beach in Sitges or Alicante? I'm not going to Sitges. I'm not going to Alicante, but I'll be closer to Sitges than to Alicante. Let me answer that way. Yeah, my screen keeps shaking, Derek, because I hate this. This is the last time I'm doing my live from here because I'm sitting on this rocking chair. You see, this is like this moving chair. Hey, Bungie, she's sleeping. And then on top of it, it's like I'm having my computer on this table. So it's like double shaking action going on here. But I don't like this. So I have to somehow work on now making my connection firm here. Okay. Well, thank you very much, everybody in the chat. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it was somehow helpful. I want to see you for the next video. Stay tuned for that. And maybe, only maybe, after that next video, I'll do a short live as well with few points. Thank you very much, everybody in the chat room and everybody watching without being in the chat room, and moderators who are doing their work there, even though I don't see any trolls, I think. So I think it was quite peaceful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy your summer and winter if you are in that specific part of the world, like Australia. I think they have winter right now. So bye, everybody. Enjoy your night, enjoy your day, and until next time, officially, bye-bye. Thank you very much, Raymond. Thank you very much. Bye, everybody. Bye.